What's going on, guys? Crypto Renegade here for you. In today's video, we're going to be doing a first look new crypto hardware wallet video for the SafePal X1. Stay tuned, you do not want to miss this one. All right, guys, welcome back. So it turns out SafePal released not just one, but two new hardware wallets under the radar. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the SafePal X1, which is a completely redesigned wallet. It is a completely different form factor. It's a completely different communication method. It's built from the ground up, and I didn't see a lot of hype around this one. In fact, I don't even think there was a press release for this one. But of course, because I'm in the hardware wallet game, I found it. I wanted to kind of give you guys my first impressions of it while they send me one to do a full unboxing and review of it. But in the meantime, I wanted to bring your awareness to the SafePal X1 because SafePal originally only had the SafePal S1, which was an air gap and smaller device. Now, in this wallet, there's a few key things that we're gonna cover that make this fundamentally different. First off, as you can see in the pictures here on the screen, this is not only a Bluetooth device, which means it's no longer air gap, but it has a whole new interface where it has a black and white sort of e-ink screen. I don't know if it's e-ink, but it's also just a cheaper non-color screen. It appears to be bigger, and it has a full numerical D-pad, which is a way different form factor than the original SafePal S1, which was in the shape of a credit card. It had a very tiny screen, and it had sort of a circular D-pad for navigation, which, needless to say, was a lot more difficult to use. This one has a much larger screen, and it has a numerical pad and has navigation for signing and sending transactions. Now, obviously, the form factor side of this is still a wireless, but it's still a Bluetooth device. The screen is much bigger, but it's in black and white. And as you can see here, you can use the numerical pad to navigate, to verify the full address that you're signing. It still works with all of the external third-party wallets. Same coin support as before, same blockchain support as before. The main things that I want to cover here that are different, obviously, is the form factor. It's a much bigger screen, and obviously it has a full 9-digit numerical pad, also used for navigation as well. But that makes the user experience much easier to use, because when you're using that tiny little D-pad with the tiny little screen on the other device, although it was air-gapped, the overall user experience for navigation, for signing, for sending, and reading the whole address was a little bit harder. This is meant to alleviate that, and I'm going to give you a few ideas of why I think that they went Bluetooth on this one as opposed to sticking as an air-gapped one. So looking at this wallet, I'm actually excited to try it because it fixes a lot of the complaints that I had with the original S1. Now, granted, it is Bluetooth and it is wireless, and it does have a rechargeable battery. And as you can see, the price comes in here at $69.99 US, which is cheaper than a lot of other wallets. And one of the things that is interesting to me is that you can still use all the same coin support, all the same features, all the same third-party wallets, MetaMask, Trust Wallet, etc. on this, but the user experience appears to be much better. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the video that they actually released two, and I'm going to do another first look video coming up shortly on the SafePal S1 Pro and how that makes it different from this one and the original SafePal S1. But sticking to this device in this video, obviously, this is something that they're trying to do that's a little bit different. It has the same security element chip, CCEAL5+. It has a 1.8-inch monochrome screen with a much lower resolution. So even though the screen's bigger, and honestly, you don't need a color screen. As long as I can read the full address and transaction details, if I'm signing a smart contract or anything, I can visibly see all the characters on the screen, and I don't have to wait for it to scroll. I don't have to do any of that. Then that will actually be fine for me. I don't need something that has a colorful screen that's tinier, much like you see right here in the original SafePal S1 and their tiny D-pad for navigation. I think that this is a much better design in terms of them doing that. Now, I personally don't like Bluetooth as much as I like air-gap for obvious security reasons. When you add a communication layer like Bluetooth, it adds another attack vector, essentially. So it's unlikely, but it's still possible. Whereas if you're air gap, that eliminates all interference. You know, when you're doing QR code scanning, there's no chance for interception on antennas, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, NFC, any of these wireless protocols, there's no room for interference or anything like that. When you're dealing with Bluetooth, that does add a layer of potential attack vectors, but again, it is unlikely unless you're in a public place and you're not following best practices, like only doing this in a secure location, when you're not around other people, when you're not near potentially other Bluetooth readers in a public place like a plaza or a square or out on the go. Those are things that you might want to consider. It's just, again, it's cheap plastic. This is meant to be an affordable device. It has a very small 200 mAh battery. It does support all the same blockchains and tokens as the original SafePal does. It has that full, bigger usability pad for signing, sending, navigating. And again, it still works with macOS, Windows, iOS, and Android, so it's multi-platform compatible. And that's one of the things that I really like about it. This is backed by Binance Labs and some of the other companies that you see here. And this is the big one I was saving for last, this is the very first open source Bluetooth hardware wallet. Not just by SafePal, but it's the first Bluetooth open source wallet. So for example, Ledger, as we all know, the Ledger Nano X is a Bluetooth wireless device, but it is not open source. So I think what's happening here, and this is my best guess, is not only is this a different form factor, it's more affordable than most wallets in this particular market segment, but more importantly, they're already announcing that they're going open source across the board, and it takes time to do that if you've already been closed source. So what they did is they released this device and made all the hardware and all the software open source so that they can over time make sure that everything's working, and they can do the same strategic rollout for the S1 and the S1 Pro so that everything eventually is fully open source. So that's the big one here. If you're looking for an open source, a Bluetooth wallet that's under $70, this is a good option. I'll have discount links where you can order down below in the description. My links will always have the best deals. At any point in time, whenever you read this, if there's a deal or if there's a sale or if there's anything going on, my link will always have that programmed in. So just wanted to throw that out there. This is really an interesting wallet for this segment. I mean, better than the smart card wallets in the sense that it has a screen, it is open source, you can verify and sign the transactions. This still has an anti-tampering self-destruct mechanism. It has a TRNG, which is True Random Number Generator. EAL5 Plus is the standard in terms of secure element chips. So it's using basically everything that the SafePal S1 did. The difference, of course, this is an air-gapped, but it is open source. Now, if you ask me which one's more important, it just depends on your preference, your situation. Open source means it's auditable. You can trust the code. You can verify it. Again, open source is only as good as the amount of people that actually audit it in the community. So just having it open source but having no one audit it is the same as having it closed source. But the fact that it's Bluetooth prevents another security concern. But again, as long as you're smart about it and you do it in a location where you're not sort of near anybody and you don't have access to some of these public readers and things of that nature, there's a higher likelihood that you'll be okay. But again, it's not perfect. It's not as secure as AirGap, where that eliminates that vector altogether. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this, because again, I was looking for an open source Bluetooth wallet and I didn't even know SafePal was working on this. I knew they were working on the S1 Pro. So this one kind of slid in under the radar. Let me know if you guys are interested in this. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments down below. I'm going to be doing a bunch more first look videos because we have some new hardware wallets coming out this year. The Elipal Titan 2, which is coming out in Q4. We have a couple of other devices, this and the S1 Pro, which are already available, and so you don't have to wait. And then I have a few other first look videos of things coming out in October and in November. So stay tuned to the channel if you want to see the newest innovations, the newest hardware wallets that are coming out. And I like to do these first look videos to kind of give you a preview, and then of course I get these companies to send me the wallet where I can do an unboxing and do a review and test it myself. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns on this, let me know down below in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Crypto Renegade out.